When you feel like you don't belong anywhere, it can be one of the most isolating feelings in the world because on top of feeling like an outcast, you also feel alone. You feel the need to change yourself for other people. You have a hard time saying no? If you feel like you have to care about what other people think about you more than your own opinion, are you afraid of being alone? Last but not least, if you feel like you've lost your identity, this could be a sign that you don't belong anywhere. You may feel like you don't know who you are or what you want. Because you've spent so much time trying to please others and fit in that you've forgotten about yourself. When you lose your identity, it can be hard to connect with people on a deeper level. You may feel like you were just going through the motions in life without any real purpose or direction. This can leave you feeling empty and unfulfilled, like there's a part of you that's missing. If this sounds like you, please know that it's okay to take some time to figure things out. You don't have to have your life all figured out right now. Take some time to explore your interests, meet new people, and try new things. You'll eventually find your place in the world. So, you may find yourself staying in toxic relationships way too long. It can make you feel like you're not good enough, or that there's something wrong with you. But the truth is, there's nothing wrong with you. You just haven't found your people yet. Keep trying new things and meeting new people, and eventually you'll find your tribe. When you do, you'll feel like you finally found your place in the world. You'll feel like you can be yourself around them without being judged, and they'll accept you for who you are. That's the kind of friends and family you deserve. This could be with a romantic partner, a friend, or even a family member. When you're in a toxic relationship, it can be hard to see the red flags. You may feel like you're in love, even if that person isn't treating you well. Or maybe you feel like you have to stay in your current friendship because you don't want to be alone. But whatever the reason, staying in toxic relationships can be one of the worst things you can do for yourself. It can leave you feeling drained, anxious, and depressed. And it can also make you feel like you don't belong anywhere because you're constantly in a state of limbo. You may feel like you're not good enough for the person you're with, or that your friends don't really like you. But the truth is, you deserve so much better than what these relationships are giving you. Please don't settle for less than you deserve. Then chances are you don't feel like you belong anywhere. You may feel like you have to do this in order to be liked or accepted, but it's actually doing more harm than good. When you're constantly seeking external validation, you're essentially saying that you don't think you're good enough the way you are. This can lead to a lot of anxiety and stress because you're constantly worried about what others think of you, and that can be exhausting to deal with on a daily basis. So if this sounds like you, just know that it's okay to not care what others think of you sometimes. You don't need their approval to be happy. This is another sign that you don't belong anywhere. When you can't say no, you're essentially saying that you don't value your own time and needs. This can lead to a lot of resentment, especially if you find yourself doing things you don't want to do all the time just because you don't want to disappoint anyone. This can also be a result of being raised by overly critical parents who never let you say no to them. As a child, you learned that if you said no, you would be met with anger or disappointment. So now you do everything you can to avoid that reaction. But this ends up hurting you in the long run, because you end up resenting the people who you're doing things for. So if you can relate to this, please know that it's okay to say no sometimes. You need to take care of yourself first before you can take care of others. Have you ever felt like you had to pretend to be someone else in order to fit in? For example, maybe you feel like you have to act a certain way around your parents, so you hide your true self from them. Or maybe you feel like you have to pretend to like the same things as your friends so they won't think you're weird. When you feel like you don't belong, you may try to change yourself to fit in. This could include changing your appearance, your interests, or even your personality. But this is only a temporary solution, because no matter how hard you try to fit in, you'll always feel like you're not good enough. At some point, you may even start to hate yourself for having to live like this. If you relate to this, please remember that you don't have to change yourself to fit in. You deserve to be loved for who you are. It feels like everyone else has a place they truly feel they belong to, whether that be a group of friends, a family gathering, or even just their own home. While you're stuck wandering around with no place to go and no people who understand you, you put other people's needs before your own. Another sign that you don't belong anywhere is if you find yourself always putting other people's needs before your own. You may feel like you have to do this in order to make them like you, but it's actually doing more harm than good. When you're constantly giving to others and taking nothing for yourself, you'll eventually burn out. And when you're burnt out, you won't be able to help anyone, not even yourself. Not belonging somewhere can leave you feeling empty inside, like there's a hole in your chest that nothing seems to be able to fill. So you may turn to other people in hopes that they can give you the love and acceptance that you're missing. But this is only a temporary fix, because it doesn't really solve the underlying issue. In fact, it can make things worse, because it can make you feel like you're not good enough the way you are. The only way to overcome this is to learn to love yourself first. When you do that, you'll find that you don't need anyone else's approval to be happy. You can't say no. You prioritize other people's opinions over your own. You stay in toxic relationships too long. You feel like you've lost your identity. There's no greater pain than feeling like you don't belong anywhere. So did you relate to any of the things we've mentioned here?